Malo Lele and welcome. I'm Sarah Faupola and today I'm here with Geoff Bascand, the Deputy Governor of the Reserve Bank of New Zealand.
Hello.
Welcome to you. Thank you. I'd like to ask you a few questions, and firstly, I would like to start with what did you study at the university and how did you start your career after graduation?
Well, I studied here at Otago University and I did a Bachelor of Arts honours degree in geography, but I also did a double major in economics. I decided as I was studying geography that I wasn't sure it was going to get me the job I wanted, so I kept doing more economics.
Okay.
And when I graduated, I was fortunate enough to get a job with Treasury. So I started as a graduate in the graduate intake at Treasury in 1981.
What factors are important for success in the world of the Reserve Bank?
Wow, you mean as an individual? And
Yep.
I think people who do well are ones who continually learn. They're curious, so they keep looking to explore what's going on and understand why there are the issues that we're worrying about, occurring, and what might be explaining them and what we can do about them. People with good communication skills, because you really need to. A lot of the work is teamwork. Obviously, having a good degree helps to get in there, but you have to keep learning as well and keep researching. So being inquisitive, I think is a big part of it.
What can a University of Otago student do to create opportunities for success after graduation?
Well, obviously doing a good degree in the first place helps, but I think actually having some wider experiences, learning to be part of whether, some sort of activity group in some fashion. So all-rounders do particularly well, ones who have learnt to portray their arguments, be a bit more oral. Both written communication, I suppose, is also important, but so communication and experiences that round that out. Resilience, I think, is always helpful, that you don't always succeed in everything, and so that ability to bounce back and be, play a longer game is a good thing.
What non-academic attributes does Reserve Bank of New Zealand seek in graduate recruits?
Well, we really do value good communication, presentation skills, and as I indicated on one of the other questions, I think that sense of curiosity and wanting to keep learning, to adapt. The world keeps changing, and a career is a long career, right?
Yeah.
So what you start doing one day is going to be different from what you do, later on. So that ability to keep reinventing yourself is a really good one. We look for initiative, people who are self-starters, because I suppose what we want most is people who are going to apply their intellect and energy and passion to things, and so the more they want to do that and start, the better.
Would you encourage graduates to seek international experience as part of their career development?
I think at some stage in a career, international experience is really valuable. I went overseas a couple of times and definitely benefited from it. I think a lot of the people that we employ at the Reserve Bank at some stage have a stint overseas.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be when you're a student, it can be afterwards, but if it has, it's probably given you a wider perspective on the world. That same sense in which we don't know everything just by looking at New Zealand is really, really important and desirable.
How do you deal with difficult decisions?
Well, they come in lots of different forms, but I suppose for a start, while you might ultimately have to make the decision, a lot of the time you can make it collectively. So you discuss it with other people, you gather information and try and make sure you've got all the facts about the situation as best you can. I think it depends on the nature of it. You have to do in the end what you think is right. So sometimes I have difficult personnel decisions or or ones in the business in terms of maybe having to save some money or something or other. They can be quite tough, and you have to have a confidence that you're making what you think is the right decision in the long term, and have the courage to do that, even if it does have some short-term pain. But yeah, you certainly want to hear different perspectives, because you don't always have the full story yourself. So listen to others, and then the courage to decide.
What's the most important thing you do at the Reserve Bank each week?
Well, for me, because I'm in a management position, I think probably the most important thing I do is my discussions with staff and with managers who report to me. So trying to help them do their job, encourage them in what they're doing is probably the most important thing. I mean, policy-wise and in terms of the overall bank's decision making, we make some very important decisions, setting interest rates, regulating banks, but we try and do that as a group, and so it's not just me. So each week probably for me the discussions with staff and managers are the most important.
How do you balance the demands of a busy workload with family and personal time?
You probably get a different answer from my wife. So yeah, it is a challenge at times. I have a philosophy that you can't be balanced at every point in time. You have to balance it with swings and roundabouts, so over time, and you have to get skilled or adept at not letting those unbalanced times be too long. But reality is some weeks, even some months, at times you can be extremely busy and work really hard, and it's a bit of sacrifice. Mm-hmm. But then you need a period when it's quieter and you can take some leave and do some other things. But yeah, there are some weeks where I would say it's a struggle, and I say it's just not to let those get too long, and to take advice. So I listen to my wife and friends and family and tell me if I'm getting out of sync for too long.
What has been the highlight of your career to date?
I think there are lots of highlights. It depends a little how you look at it. I mean, I'm really privileged that I've had some fantastic experiences, worked with some great people. So in many ways, when I look back, the best times of my career have been when I've worked with teams of people that I've really enjoyed working with, and they've become friends. A period in the Department of Labour, the Labour Market Policy Group, it was a wonderful group of people to work with. And when I was at Statistics New Zealand, I had a wonderful management team. And the Reserve Bank, I'm really enjoying working with the people. So the people are a really big part of it. Yeah. I get the privilege to travel and to see places, and then sometimes there are accomplishments where things we've done and you feel really proud of being part of achieving something. When I was at Statistics New Zealand, I helped to get reinvestment in Statistics New Zealand. That was very important because I think that statistics are really important for us, and the place needed to be invested in. It was underfunded, so I felt very proud of helping them to do that and to become a bit more outgoing as an organisation. So different things over different times. I feel very privileged and very fortunate.
Finally, what is the most important lesson you have learned from your career?
I think it is to try different things, and to realise that there are lots of different things that are interesting, and you learn from each of them. Okay. I mean, we're all made differently. Some people like to be very specialised and do lots of research in one area. That's probably not me. Okay. I'm a little bit more of a magpie. I like different things, okay. and I've really had that good fortune to do a number of different things and enjoy them. Okay. But that's me.
Geoff, I'd like to thank you for your time, and it has been a pleasure interviewing you.
Thank you very much.